Well, Saudi Arabia is reportedly supplying insurgents fighting the Syrian government with arms bought from Croatia. The New York Times newspaper quoted unnamed U.S. and Western officials as saying the large purchase of infantry weapons began to reach the militants via Jordan in December. The New York Times said that since then, multiple plane loads of weapons have left Croatia. The Syrian government has frequently accused foreign countries, including Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Turkey, of arming and funding the insurgents. Now, the nearly 2 years of violence in Syria has left tens of thousands of people dead. I'm going to switch over to London, joined by Middle East expert, Mr. Zaid Al-Issa. Thanks so much for being with us. Mr. Al-Issa, are you surprised at this news? Now that the New York Times, first of all, that they're breaking this news, one, is it a surprise to you? And secondly, that Saudi Arabia is so, it seems to be so blatantly and openly actually sending weapons to the insurgents in Syria?
Well, of course, it's without doubt a flagrant and a blatant violation of international law, supplying terrorists with arms. But this comes hot on the heels of several reports, also by the New York Times, The Guardian, the BBC, that Saudi Arabia and Qatar have been on the forefront of funding, financing, arming, and also the unprecedented move of paying salaries to the insurgents. Now, the report claims that this time the Saudis are actually providing the arms to nationalists and seculars, which actually defies logic and sense, because there is no clear blue water between the various insurgent groups there, and the most prominent force there is actually Al-Jabhat al-Nusra, which is actually the Al-Qaeda in Syria. Now, previous reports by specifically the New York Times also said that most of the weapons previously have gone, most of the funding also has gone to Jabhat al-Nusra, which has been revitalized and reinvigorated. That is Al-Qaeda in Syria by those arms and also by the funding. So the same country, which is Saudi Arabia, cannot be also supplying arms to the nationalists and seculars, because the two groups are inseparable, they are inextricably linked, and there is no separation between the two groups. Those weapons will definitely find the way to Jabhat al-Nusra, that is to Al-Qaeda, and the same country cannot be supplying both groups with the weapons. Let
me just jump in here. We're limited in time. After this, now that this has been broken, now again that it's being said that Saudi Arabia is actually supplying them directly, do you think that we can expect any type of political pressure on Saudi Arabia to actually stop sending these arms into this situation to the insurgents?
I don't see any political pressure applied, but there is encouragement, enticement from the USA, and there is the previous reports talked about the weapons being coordinated by the CIA. There is no interest in the eyes of the Saudis in any political situation. They are hell-bent and steadfastly committed to regime change. That's the driving force.
Thank you so much. I'm so sorry we're out of time.
I
appreciate you being with us. Middle East expert out of London, Mr. Zaid Al-Issa.